Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are around the world. Hope everyone's having a good day. Today I have a Valorant video for you, and I'm going to be answering the question, what's wrong with Valorant right now? Some of you might be thinking, wrong with Valorant? Nothing's wrong with Valorant right now. I have a different opinion because I have a different experience from you. Because there's a lot wrong, particularly, and more specifically, with solo queue. And I know there are some of you out there, just like me, who is an absolute potato and just want to improve, but there are things in the way. In fact, there are 3 things. 2 things I have a solution for, while the third we're just going to have to live with. So let's get started. First of all, levers. The thing about Valorant is it's a team-based tactical shooter, which means when somebody leaves your game, well, you've got a huge disadvantage, and it puts a right toll, and it puts yourself in a state of mind of not really caring to play anymore. And that's what happened to me. I had a game the other day, didn't have just 1 lever, no, that's 2, that's too mainstream. Not 2 levers, it's too mediocre. But nailed it on the head with 3 levers. It was a 5 versus 2. Yet the enemy team was still try-harding, so it was difficult to get a kill in. And once you know you've got levers, you start to panic. So your potato-ness gets even more potatoey. I think you see my point here. It's very frustrating because people just give up too easily and get frustrated. So they just want to not be in the game because they're being on their team, in their eyes, as being stupid, or you're just trash. Quite there and simple. Now obviously, Riot Games have tried to put things in place. When you leave, you have a 2-hour ban. There's a message that comes up when you try to leave. Obviously there's the F4, which we can't help. It's a Windows thing for every single program, no matter what. So yeah, there's nothing that we can do about it. It happens in every single game, and we know it's frustrating. But say, it's not much of a toll in, say, a game of Battlefield or Call of Duty, because, well, you've got respawns, infinite ones, in the likes of Siege, in the likes of Valorant. You don't, and it matters. And for us that are trying to improve, it puts a real toll on it, because you're not improving at all. Because then you need to try even more harder without that extra person. Or in my case from the other day, 3 extra people. Now talking of giving up, shall we go on to problem number 2? The lovely little feature called the surrender feature. I think it's being abused way too often. 9 out of 10 of my games, we've got a surrender on our hands, or an attempted one by the team. Sometimes it doesn't get voted all the way though. Sometimes I'm glad. I'm the sort of person that doesn't want to give up, regardless what's going on. Because here's the thing, what's the point of coming into Valorant to play a game? Because at the end of the day, everybody, and I mean everybody, wants to improve, but everybody also wants to have fun. Now I find Valorant is one of the best FPS games in 2020 right now. I love it, but I can't get any better when my team are constantly surrendering all the time. It's frustrating. So why is the surrender feature available from the start? It shouldn't be. There's a simple fix. Move the surrender so it's only available after the half-time point, where attackers become defenders and vice versa. The switchover. And there's a good reason, a logical reason for this to be placed here. Everything is map dependent, composition dependent, and skill dependent, right? You have a random team of 5 people against other 5 people, but you're not maybe doing as well as on the attacking round. But then suddenly, you're on defense, and you're doing great. You're making a comeback, which is one of the great things about Valorant, and why I love it, because of clutches and comebacks. And that's the thing. You unlock it after halfway. Your team actually might get better and learn what the enemy are doing. But then again, it's randoms, and likely that's not going to happen. But regardless, I think it should be a change that is available and should only be used as a final last resort, as a surrender. That's what it's there for. Because honestly, I think it's a feature that's meant to be used for levers. My game the other day, where I had 3 levers, I even said in chat, I'm not giving up. Even with 3 levers, it was demoralising, but I said in chat, I'm not leaving. I'm not surrendering. I'm fighting. I'm going to do the best as I possibly can. But, you know, you panic and do the worst that you possibly can. So actually, the surrender feature could be even better. Not move to the halfway point, but move to the point where it's available when you have a lever. That way, it's only forced when you have a huge disadvantage, which I think is a great idea. Let's move on, shall we? The final thing that I think is wrong with Valorant, from my experience, is the matchmaking. Now, according to my sources, it's skill-based matchmaking. Does it feel like skill-based matchmaking? I don't think so. It feels like the games I'm experiencing are the same feeling that I'm experiencing when I play World of Warships. Now, for the people that are watching this video, you probably haven't played or heard of the game World of Warships. But let me just briefly explain. World of Warships matchmaking is random. Any skill level, any player from that server. And that causes one major huge frustration. You get very one-sided games, whether you thrash the enemy really well, or the enemy does it to you. Because you're mixing high skill players with the mid skill cat players, with the low and below average and just potato players. And more often than not, what happens is there are some decent players in that team, but because the majority of your team aren't that good, you're not performing good. And sometimes you've got a potato team and a really good player, and that is frustrating because they might be carrying, but it's maybe not quite enough, or vice versa. You've got quite a below average player, and that's the feeling I'm getting when I play Valorant. The matchmaking isn't level, it's not equal on each team. I had a game the other day, and there was a Jet. Now, my team was convinced she was hacking. Now, she might have, I don't know. She was insta-headshotting me pretty much all the time, so possibility. But I didn't write it off as hacking straight away, because I'm not the sort of person that would say, oh, they're very, very good, must be hacking. But I did have my suspicions by the end of that match, and that Jet was going at least 22 something at nearing the end, while the rest of their team were only reaching 12 kills, 12 frags. So that's an example, a huge example of my point here of you get very similar skill set to a certain extent, and then you add one really good player, and it ruins it for everybody. Because on the one hand, we get absolutely slapped, and the enemy team, they find it too easy to win. Because I was doing quite decently, to a certain extent, but I'm quite inconsistent, and I want to change that. But I can't with a player with that sort of person's Jet, because I thought she's in the wrong match. She shouldn't be in that specific match. She should be in another higher skilled of level of play. So what they need to do is even out the matchmaking. Like similarly to Overwatch competitive. I know I haven't played it for such a long time. But before the hero selection screen, when all the players' names pop up, there's an overall SR, your season rating, of your entire team. And if you can match them as closely as possible, just like Overwatch did, I think the matchmaking could be a lot better. Now obviously I don't know how the MMR works, how it's rated and all that kind of stuff, and how it's actually calculated when you are matchmade into a game. I don't know, just a stab in the dark. Now after all this you might be thinking, well, there's a really simple solution to this. Get a 5-stack. Yeah, it's an easy solution if you have the people, and I don't have the people unfortunately. So I will be solo queuing or not playing Valorant at all until I have it. Because to be honest, all I want to do is get better. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for a Mustang. I'm not asking for all the money in the world. I am not asking to cure cancer. Although that would be very, very awesome if that did happen. All I want is to improve and to have a bit of fun. That's all I'm asking for. I'd like to know, what's your experience with the matchmaking in Valorant and your overall experience since the launch? And that's going to do it for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider subscribing for more content like this one. All the gaming discussions can be done in the Discord descriptions and below. I'm always active on there for a chat. And I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Take care.